In today's video, we take you from our home in Hawaii to our new home here in Colorado. Stay tuned, guys. Welcome to Rhino Exploration. My name's Zach. Well, guys, we are here in New Mexico. Lindsay and I and Casper have started our journey to Colorado. We left Hawaii. Everything moved a lot faster than we originally anticipated, so plans changed a bit. We don't have the Jeep. We're actually driving. This is a gray Dodge ride right now because the Jeep actually got shipped straight to Colorado, so we're going to pick that up at the end of next week. And we've just been getting everything done. The movers came, packed us out really quick, and next thing we knew, we were cleaning up our old place, and on the plane we said goodbye to a lot of our friends back there in Hawaii, and we started our new journey. So we got into Phoenix late on Sunday night, and we were in Arizona for a few days staying with family, and then we road tripped down I-10 and across over to New Mexico, and we're actually here in Silver City. I got more family that lives up here, so that's who we're visiting at the moment. And we're just been hanging out, and check out this sunset behind me. It is absolutely gorgeous. My family is very blessed to be living on some property, so we're out here enjoying this. It's very cold from what it was in Hawaii. It is freezing actually for us. But we're getting used to it little by little and adjusting to the altitude slowly. When we left Hawaii to Phoenix to here, and then from here to Colorado, because we leave Sunday here to go to Colorado. So we are going to be filming that journey, bringing you guys along. We have done some really cool stuff in Arizona while we were there, and we've been just hanging out and relaxing. This is then the first day here in New Mexico, so we got some things planned for tomorrow, and then we'll get moving the next day because it is Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving, so late happy Thanksgiving, everyone. But yeah, that's what we're doing. So when we were in Hawaii, we were getting everything done. We had the whole house starting to get packed up. The movers were getting ready to come in, and we were kind of just standing around waiting for the movers at that point. All of our stuff had to get packed up before we could actually leave island, so we were figuring it out, and Casper was adjusting slowly to all the changes that were happening around him. But he was really good on all of our travels all the way here to Denver. He had lots of change, and we were very impressed with him. So the movers came, and all of our stuff got packed up, and they put it outside, and that was the truck they were loading all of our stuff into. That truck actually has like 5 different crates on it, and all of our stuff filled up all of 5 of those crates. I think we have too many things. So the apartment was empty, and next was to get one good last look off the balcony I'd been looking off of for 4 years, and then time to go to the airport. And that was when our journey truly began. But before we left, we stopped over at Pearl Harbor one last time and was able to catch a ship actually coming into port. And we actually sat there and just enjoyed watching it come in. It was actually really, really fun to just see the ship come in, and it gets really up close to you. And you get perspective for how big those vessels are. So when we got to the airport, we had a little bit of a wait. We had to get all of Casper's paperwork checked out and ensure that it was good to go so he could be in the cabin of the plane with us. Now, during this whole journey, he had to stay in his bag. He wasn't a fan of that, but he had to stay in his bag, and it had to be on the floor with Hawaiian Airlines. That was just their policy.
So we followed it because we didn't want any reason to have to deboard or have an issue. And he did really, really well. So once we arrived in Arizona, our first day, we went around. I was showing Lindsay everywhere that I kind of grew up because I grew up in Arizona. So one of the last few stops of the night, or the day I should say, was to the botanical gardens because Lindsay loves her plants. And we just went through. I lived in Arizona for 20 something years and I had never been to the botanical gardens. And just to see all the different cacti around and just their interpretations of what the valley would have looked like before people came in, and just all the wildlife just freely roaming. It was actually a really cool experience to see it all in just kind of its natural habitat. Now, don't get me wrong, going off-road and seeing it that way is 5 times better, but for being in the middle of the city, can't complain too much about that. So after we got done at the botanical gardens, it's right next to the zoo. And so we went to see their zoo lights at the Phoenix Zoo. And they have stepped up their game from 6+ years ago when I last saw it. They had all these kinds of, they had dinosaurs, but they also had animals in the same exact material that were erect and lit up. And before, it was only like a small part of the zoo you could walk through. It wasn't that way whatsoever. You got to walk almost the entire zoo minus like the children's section of the zoo. And they just had these animal lights everywhere. And this was actually really cool. They had this, what was supposed to look like a Christmas tree in the middle of their man-made lake in the middle of the zoo. And they just had this amazing light show playing off of it that went to sound. And it was just really cool to see. I was truly impressed with how the zoo lights were this year in Phoenix. So one thing we did do the next day was we actually met up with one of my best friends and we went hiking out on South Mountain. It wasn't a long hike. We were there for like 2 hours, but we really enjoyed the hike. I didn't do much videoing because we were just hanging out and enjoying our time.
Good morning, everyone. Right now, Lindsay and I are here in New Mexico, hanging out with some family. Tomorrow, which is Sunday, it's been 2 days since Thanksgiving. We are heading to our home destination of Colorado. It has finally come. We traveled from Hawaii last Sunday to Arizona. Our plans kind of got changed around a bit because we were able to have our stuff shipped to Colorado like we had planned, but the Jeep actually got shipped to Colorado, so the whole going to San Diego, road tripping from there, kind of got nixed. We ended up borrowing my dad's truck in Arizona, and we have been road tripping from Arizona to New Mexico, and then we will go to Colorado tomorrow. But we've been hanging out. We've been filming as we've been going along our adventures this past week, so that's going to be part of this video. We're going to show you Arizona and then traveling to New Mexico, and then what we did here in New Mexico going to Colorado. It's been a lot of fun. Lindsay and I are both currently fighting off allergies and got a little bit of sickness. The 40+ degree change in temperatures from Hawaii to here has been kicking our butts a little bit, but we're having fun. We're actually out here in the Boston Hill open space just outside of Silver City, New Mexico. Let's take a look at all of this. There's just miles and miles of actual carved out trails for walking. There is some off-roading trails here. We will be taking a trip down here once I pick up the Jeep because it's actually in Denver already. It is waiting for us, so I get to pick that up at the end of next week. I'm super excited to have the Jeep back. And because it's going to be here in the mainland, we get to do a lot more adventuring off-roading. We get to go to all sorts of new places that we've been talking about going to, and now that time has finally come. So we're going to continue walking this, guys. You'll see kind of what we were doing, and then we will catch you all later. So enjoy.
As you would have heard me mention, this is the Boston Hill open area or open space that my dad lives a mile away from in Silver City, and we just enjoyed walking it. We didn't even touch not even a quarter of the trails, but we went walking, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It was a little windy, as you can tell, but it was so beautiful out, and the weather kept changing between being warm and then cooling off because of the wind chill. But it was such a nice hike, and all the trails are just like this. They're all kind of carved out. Some are a little rockier than others, but they're just carved out, and you just get this view of vast expanse of very few houses and nothing to really see, but it is gorgeous. And Casper really enjoyed his time visiting his grandparents. He was walking all the trails. He was enjoying being outside, investigating. He had a good old time, and we were super happy that he wanted to walk. It's not often he likes walking with his leash and exploring, normally because there's too many people around. But he had a good old time. He walked for a good almost mile one day, and we were super impressed with how he did it and with all the change and everything. He was just a really good boy on this whole trip. Now, New Mexico was fun. Visiting family both in Arizona and in New Mexico was a blast. I haven't seen them in a while, but it was time to head to Colorado. Now, mind you, this is the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and right now we are actually driving through the Black Mountains, which is in the Gila National Forest. It was a pretty drive, but I was not expecting all the snow and ice that was on the road. And when they tell you the speed limit's 10 miles an hour on a corner, they are not kidding. It is 10 miles an hour around that corner. And some of it I had to go even slower because of all the snow, and there was a lot of black ice, so the back end of the truck was kind of sliding because my dad's truck's not four-wheel drive. But once we got out of there, we hit the interstate, I-25 straight up. And the drive was a little boring, I will admit. You know, it's a long 6 hours to get through New Mexico. But it was worth it. I haven't driven I-25 in over 6 years, so it was fun to just be able to sit there and drive. The longest drive I've done in over 4 years, so it was a really good time. I enjoyed it. Had lots of things playing on my iPad to keep me distracted while Lindsay slept. When we finally made it to Colorado, we were so excited. Though we had like 3 more hours worth of driving to go, we were super excited to finally be in our new home state. And the next day, it snowed. It's not often that this happens, but it was a cool welcome to our new home. But trying to wipe off the truck, that was fun to see. And it was a good day driving through the snow. I do miss the snow and the cold, so we had a joyous time. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of our journey from Hawaii to Colorado. We will be getting back out soon to do more adventuring. Lindsay and I both got really sick after coming back to the mainland, so we've been fighting this sickness, if you can't tell through all of my voiceover in some of the videos. But as soon as we are all better, we will be back out on the trail and exploring our new home and doing road trips and taking you guys along on the way. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.